Alright, this video should be a short one. It mainly refers to I want to tell you a way of obtaining a simple heat that you might find useful. Let's say you're in a vehicle and you want a little bit of heat in there, but you don't want to run the vehicle. You know those little there are little small heaters which you can plug into your cigarette lighter of your vehicle, and they put out a little bit of heat. They're like, I don't know, I think they're called small heaters or something like that for plug in your cigarette lighter or something like that. You can check into them on the internet. But remember, if you run them too long, your battery can be worn down, your vehicle will not start. The other option you can do, there's a thing called the power inverter. What this does, it changes the power that comes out of your car battery. It makes that type of power. It changes it to a type of power which is the same power which you have in your house. When you plug something into the wall in your house, this thing called a power inverter will change the power which comes out of a battery to the type of power that you can plug a lamp into, just like you plug into your house. You plug a lamp into your house. So anyway, this thing called a power inverter, and you can plug a power inverter into your cigarette lighter or directly on your battery of your vehicle. And there are power inverters, I think most if not all of them have a safety on them, so that if your battery reaches a certain amount of power left in it, it will turn off the power inverter, so you should be able to start your vehicle. So anyway, you can plug a power inverter into your cigarette lighter, I believe, and then take a small electric blanket. I think they use around between 60 and 125 watts, and you can plug that into the power inverter, and you can put that on yourself if you're in a vehicle. And you can also probably plug a very low powered heater into that power inverter too. In order to keep yourself warmer, if you're going to use a little heater, you can put it inside of a sleeping bag when you're in it, or in blankets. You decide what you want to do about that, because you don't want to start a fire. But I highly doubt the item will get little small, low use of the small heater you have that you'll be using will probably not be able to get that hot where it will start a fire, because it doesn't have that much power. It's only running off your cigarette lighter, which you cannot really pull too much power through. I won't explain why. It's not designed that way. There's a fuse, I think, that will blow if you try to pull too much power through the cigarette lighter. Then you have to replace the fuse. But anyway, that's what I think would happen. But anyway, another option for you if you're trying to keep warm, and let's say you have some solar panels or a windmill, and let's say you don't have a really good one, or you're not having much power. Remember, if you're inside of a house, you can take that little small heater and put it inside of a sleeping bag when you're inside the house with you. Okay? Let's say you have no source of heat, and power's out wherever, but you have a solar panel in your house which produces 100 watts. You should have enough power maybe to run one of those things. Where people that you know that are with you and yourself can actually have a good source of heat that will be pretty warm for your feet and stuff like that. And electric blanket will be pretty decent to have when you can't start a fire, when you can't, when the natural gas doesn't work, when electricity doesn't work, if that stuff happens. So even a 100-watt solar power thing put on the house, which is not visible from the road or the neighbors preferably, or a windmill works too, but those are very visible. Now, like I'm saying, these things can be useful, especially for those who are not used to that type of hard to live situation. To have that little break once in a while or whatever to get pretty warm in a very cold area. Right outside right now, it's probably less than 20 degrees Fahrenheit. It's well below freezing. Ice is well frozen right now. But people can live out there. It's not if you know what you're doing, and especially if you're used to it, and you're out of the wind. I mean, you can still live if you're in the wind, but man, if you're not used to it, you could die. I presume that's possible to live in the wind right now if you dress properly and stuff like that. Now, I will say this: if you're very cold in the first few nights, when you're out in the cold, or say you're in a vehicle, or a lot of people know this who have been in the military, you can be, if you're not used to it, and or pretty much if you're not used to it, just make sure the first few nights, or maybe the first week or two, you got to work yourself into the cold. Your body will get used to it. I believe so. I've been in situations, and mine has gotten a lot more used to it than those around me who were not in my situation. Or if people that were not in my situation normally got in my situation, and I had to pretty much tell them, hey, in time, just right now, get used to it. In time, you should be okay. You might not sleep for the first 2 or 3 nights, but after a while, it probably won't even bother you that much. Dogs can be outside all day in 20 degrees and be happy about it. But you have to get the dogs are often used to it because their owners put them out all the time during the day sometimes, or all the time, pretty much during the day. So the dogs gradually over time get used to it as the weather changes. Humans are inside a lot. They're used to the heat. At least in America, a lot of countries don't have the heat all the time, so they don't have heat. But Americans, a lot of them have heat. Most of them have heat, and they're not used to the weather changes. They're not used to hanging out in 20-degree weather when it's 20 degrees outside. They heat their homes. But if you were used to it, especially over time, your body would get, and you would get yourself, your body adjusted to the thing, so it would be able to handle that colder weather because you would be used to it. So if you lose the power and it gets cold in your house, you have no way to heat your house, store water really quick, wherever you can store it, and you're going to have to shut off the main water to your house because your pipes will burst if you don't.